Nigeria's growing population has been generating reaction in recent days, and the biggest buzz came after the Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, was quoted as saying the government will put a cap on the number of children permitted in each household. The minister has clarified those comments, but noted that the federal government will be working with religious and traditional leaders to train Nigerians on family planning. Now, Oyin Adekunle has that report.
Nigeria is rated the most populous nation in Africa and one of the most populated in the world, with an estimate of over 197 million people. According to projections by the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, the country is expected to be among the 3 most populous countries of the world in 2050. That projection has raised concerns among Nigerian government officials who are worried about its effect on economic growth. In recent days, the Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, has been speaking on government's plans to check the ever-growing population.
The point is, we actually have a demographic situation where our population is growing at a rate that is faster than the growth of our economy. We recognize that as a challenge even in the ERGP, which must be addressed. So what we were discussing yesterday is how we must engage traditional rulers and religious leaders to help us to educate families, women and men, of course, to have the number of children that they can effectively manage. That means spacing out children more, making sure that you're able to educate well the children that you have, let them have good quality of life.
As expected, the minister's remark has sparked series of debates across the country, with opinions clearly divided on the issue.
What we have right now is not overpopulation. What we have now is leadership failure, both at the local government levels. Some local government areas are, apart from local government workers, just vacant, nothing else happening in those areas. If you're not a local government staff, you don't have a job. You are doing a petty farming, you don't have a job. You can't stay in those places. If you are even if you have just an SS3, you can't stay in your village. There's nothing to do there. So how then are you talking about overpopulation? A huge population can actually be an advantage. One of the reasons why we are considered a big market is because of the population. China and India are thriving on their population. What makes China attractive is not China, it's the population. So Nigeria is actually standing at a place of opportunity.
We don't need somebody to say, you should give birth to this number of children. Why do I say so? You know your strength. You know your economic capacity. And so you give birth to, according to your economic capacity. A family can be one man and his wife, and yet they are overpopulated because of the resources they have to live on. And there could be a family that they are in 20s, they are about 20 or above, yet they are not overpopulated because the resources at their disposal could meet their needs.
Population control has always been a controversial subject in Nigeria, where religious beliefs are very strong. Attempts in the past to introduce some form of birth control measures were strongly resisted, especially in the north of the country. But indeed, Nigeria needs to do something about its population, which is estimated to be growing at a rapid rate of 3%, while its economy is sluggishly growing at just around 1.5%.
Child spacing, we'll talk about it in terms of trying to get people more enlightened, to know that it's healthier for them. But then again, you have the issues of method of this child spacing. You get me? What methods do you employ? It's not enough to tell people space your families. They are young couples, they are active couples. So what methods should they adopt?
What government should concern itself with is viable economic policies that will lead to industrialization in the nation. By the time there are cottage industries here and there, I believe that the question of overpopulation will be answered.
The federal government has now said that the Ministry of Budget and National Planning, in conjunction with the Ministry of Health and other relevant stakeholders, will work together to review the country's population policy. Oyin Adekunle, TV 360, Nigeria.